I'm Jean Westgate, and I've been the president of Friends of Sumas Mountain since the early 1990s. Sumas Mountain, yay! Sumas Mountain is 17 miles northeast of Bellingham, and my community is represented by about 60 homes, over 125 people. And this mountain is very well known for its instability. Where we live is situated between two major landslides, the Swift Creek Slide and the Dale Creek Slide. They're within 2 miles of each other, and I don't know if you drive out to the county, the Swift Creek Slide is very obvious to anyone driving out near Everson. Both of these landslides originated in the inner gorges where creeks flow. My community has appealed 2 forest practice applications when we discovered, before they were even put into the Department of Natural Resources, that there was going to be logging above us. We were concerned because of these 2 landslides, and we asked some independent geologists to come out and look at the land, and they were very concerned, gravely concerned about logging above this community. Our first appeal was compelling enough that the Whatcom County Council and the Nooksack Indian Tribe joined us in the appeal. I don't believe the County Council had ever done an appeal, joined in an appeal before, and I'm not sure they have since, so we felt very good about that. That appeal in the early 1990s generated a report called The Analysis of the Western Slope of Sumas Mountain, which clearly acknowledges the instability issues that pertain to this mountain where we live. And this report even states that there should be no road building through the inner gorges of any of the creeks on this western slope of Sumas Mountain. Our second appeal was focused on exactly that thing, as the DNR approved an FPA, a forest practice application, that included the building of a massive road through the inner gorge of Power Creek, which sits right above our community. In order to build this road through the inner gorge of Power Creek, the DNR approved extensive blasting, the removal of over 8,000 cubic yards of material from the steep slopes of the gorge, with cut slopes of 22 to 31 feet. Both timber companies who got approved FPAs, forest practice applications, by the DNR went out of business during or right after our appeals. When Crown Pacific went out of business, Sierra Pacific Timber Company took over. And they literally, and this was after our appeal through the Forest Practice Appeals Board, and Sierra Pacific literally told me that they had inherited a flawed FPA. This is shocking, absolutely shocking. This was a forest practice application that got more scrutiny, got an appeal, when you appeal a forest practice application, you go through the appeals board. You've got all kinds of expert witnesses. We had wonderful geologists talking to this, and yet the company that ended up logging above us said they got a flawed FPA after that extensive process. Since Sierra Pacific did log this 172 acres and build the road through the inner gorge of Power Creek, there has been one massive debris flow in one of the gorges because of extremely poor culverting, so water wasn't directed properly. One resident's land has been quite badly damaged because of another poor culverts. This is when you issue a forest practice application, the culverting of how you are going to deal with the water runoff is a huge part of it. So this very extensively looked at FPA had poor culverts that was approved by the Department of Natural Resources. Doug Sutherland knew about both these, or about this second case of ours, and this got tremendous press, got tremendous scrutiny, and still We've been dealing with problems ever since this got logged. To appeal a forest practice application, I'm just a citizen. I'm not in government. I don't. That's not what I want to be doing with my time or energy. It's a grueling process. It takes over one's life. It costs vast amounts of money. And in the end now, I know that there's very little chance of success. We had excellent cases in both of these appeals, and we're told by many, many very bright people who knew about these things that we should prevail. We did not, and in the end, having gone through this process twice, I now know with unequivocally that the DNR does not review and mitigate their FPAs properly or thoroughly, that they do not care and protect the public safety as they are mandated to do. They are in the timber company's pockets, and communities like mine are left to fend for themselves at their own cost and peril. This is not a fair system, and it must be changed, and I'm so glad that Peter Goldmark is running for Lands Commissioner. And I just want to say one last thing as I close. This is a race that a lot of people don't understand. They don't know what a Lands Commissioner is. So when you talk to your friends, try to really tell them how vital and important voting for Peter Goldmark is, and that this is going to affect all of us here in Whatcom County and the state of Washington. Thanks for your time, and